Another fire of a very different kind. After thousands of hectares of forests were gutted by forest fires in Uttarakhand, another ecological catastrophe may be staring us in the face. As the flames rage on for weeks, experts now are predicting doom for the glaciers, feeding some of India's biggest rivers. It is feared that the heat and carbon deposits from the flames of the forests can only hasten the perilous impacts of global warming. Let's look at the latest of what's been happening on the ground in Uttarakhand.
Forest fires in Uttarakhand have been brought under control, but it will be a long while before they are completely put out. A police constable died when boulders fell on Pankaj Chauhan while he was dousing fire on the outskirts of Chamoli town.
बिल्कुल हम लोग एहतियात बरतेंगे क्योंकि हमने तो जब परसों आपने देखा था एनडीआरएफ को ट्रेनिंग में दे रहा था, बता रहा था कैसे आग बुझाएंगे, उस समय भी मैंने इस बात को उठाया था कि आपको बचाना है और अपने आप को बचाना है। अब किसी कारण से नए यंग एज के थे तो किस तरह से हुआ तो देखने के बाद पता लगेगा क्यों ऐसा हुआ, लेकिन हम कोशिश करेंगे आइंदा ऐसी घटना न घटे।
Till now, 4 persons have been arrested and 46 cases have been filed under the Forest Act.
There is a lot of destruction, a lot of wildlife has been destroyed, trees have been destroyed, and this is something that people wanted to come and look out for, right? Isn't it?
Yes, for sure, I understand that, and yeah, I mean, there's nothing to argue about that. It's true, there has been a lot of forest devastated and all this, but I mean, it's still not like it is safe, and it is nice to be here.
We are worried like everybody else is worried. But also we are quite used to these forest fires. Every spring, to some degree, they come, and we are just hoping that after monsoon everything will be coming back to life again.
Air Force choppers resumed firefighting, but their sorties were delayed due to poor visibility and thick smoke. Even the NDRF teams resorted to traditional methodology of beating the fire and digging trenches, since it is neither trained nor equipped to deal with such a situation. With rains predicted in the next 24 to 48 hours, the other big worry is the spread of fire to neighbouring states. The fire spread across state borders to Rejouri in Jammu and Kashmir and parts of Himachal Pradesh. A school in Kasoli was evacuated after the fire reached close to it.
हमारे में दिखते ये है कि गर्मी है ज़्यादा, ज़्यादा यहाँ सरोल पत्ती के कारण तो हमें जो बड़ा संघर्ष करना पड़ा। आज हमें 7-8-10 दिन हो गए हैं जो जो है इसमें लगे हुए। रात दिन हमारा वन विभाग का जो टीम है वो रात दिन लगी हुई है।
While the number of forest fires in the first 4 months this year has exceeded the total number of fires last year, unless the government invests heavily on procuring modern firefighting equipment, there is no guard against forest fires in hot and dry climate. With Manjeet Sehgal and Ankit Tyagi, Bureau Report, India Today.
And I want to stay with that Uttarakhand story because as the Uttarakhand fires continue to spread to other states like Himachal, the officials are struggling to control the burning fires. They are burning leaves and pine needles in a limited area to somehow control the damage. Ankit Tyagi with tonight's ground report.
10,000 personnel and IAF choppers continue to battle the raging blaze in Uttarakhand. With the rains predicted in the next 24 to 28 hours, the concerns of fire spreading to neighbouring states is growing. While the fires in Uttarakhand are partially under control, the blaze are now extending to neighbouring states of Himachal Pradesh and Jammu and Kashmir. And as the fire spreads, the officials have now resorted to control fire operation.
This is not the fire that has been caused by natural phenomena or some miscreant. This is a controlled fire. So what is a controlled fire? How does it help in containing the fire? I'll just go across to Mr. Pandey. He's a forest ranger here. Pandey ji, ये क्या पूरी जो आप लोगों ने आग लगाई है, ये आप लोगों ने आग क्यों लगाई है?
ये इसलिए लगाई है ताकि जो पुराना इसमें पिरूल पड़ा हुआ है ये जल जाए। और इसमें
पिरूल क्या होता है सर?
ये पिरूल जो है चीड़ के पत्ते, हाँ चीड़ के पत्ते हुए। अच्छा, चीड़ का पत्ता जो है उसको पिरूल कहते हैं।
तो ये बेसिकली आग फैले ना, अगर जंगल में आग लगे तो फैले ना, उसको रोकने के लिए आप लोगों की कवायद।
हाँ उसको।
As the fire continues to wreak havoc, the latest tragedy has once again put the spotlight on administration's incompetence to avert a major disaster. With Ankit Tyagi, Bureau Report, India Today.
Ankit Tyagi is joining me live. He's en route to Dehradun at the moment. Sunita Narayan, Director of Center for Science and Environment, is with me. N.K. Bhatnagar, former DG NDRF, is also with me. I appreciate first Ankit Tyagi. Tell me what's happening on the ground. We are told the fire is continuing to spread to neighboring states and is still far from being under control.
Well, the officials are saying, Rajdeep, that about 70% of the fire in the state has been contained. Why I'm standing at this very spot? Because just about an hour back, I'll ask my camera person Yogendra if he can still show you. There was still this fire burning right at the Kaladungi area and very near to the residential areas. So we spoke to the DM and he said that a team has been dispatched, and it looks in the last hour and a half that we have been here, they have been able to control it, spreading towards the habitat, towards those huts, towards those lights that you see. It's still burning. If you can see, my camp, we are about a couple of kilometers away from it. But the fact is that the administration is ill-equipped. The numbers are not adequate, and more than that, Rajdeep, you speak to experts, what they say is that although it's a phenomena that happens every year, but education is required. People need to know that they try and burn these fires, the shopheads and all, right, and then it just spreads. The climate this time has also contributed, but that's not the only factor. There are people mostly responsible for these uncontrolled fires.
Sunita Narayan, is this the worst ever forest fire that India is facing?
Rajdeep, it's difficult to say so, but it's definitely very, very bad this year. And I think it tells you two or three things. One, it tells you that in the age of climate change, where we will see intense heat and you will see no moisture. I was in Uttarakhand about 2-3 weeks ago in Almora, and I saw how dry the forests of Almora were. And it's very clear that in the age of climate change, the one thing that we in India cannot afford is to have bad governance. So this entire thing that has been playing out, the politics of Uttarakhand that has been playing out, cannot happen in the age of climate change when governments will have to act and act fast. Secondly, what it tells you is that there is an issue about forest management. The fact is, a lot of the fire is coming also in forests which are pine forests. We've created huge monocultures of pine forests, whereas the Himalayas were really about forests would also be broadleaf, where you would have leaf litter on the ground, which would control the fire. Right. But that also then has to be linked with the fact that we have made sure that the forests of the Himalayas have nothing to do with the people of the Himalayas today. People have no interest in the forests because all they get from the forests is monkeys and wild animals that come and ravage their fields, but they get no benefits from forests. So they are no longer the custodians of forests. And you have a forest doesn't have the manpower, doesn't have the ability to be able to control forest fires at the scale that they are spreading. So all this needs to be accounted for, and I cannot understand where our Minister for Environment is when these things are happening, other than telling us it'll go away tomorrow.
He did, of course, speak to us yesterday and said precisely what you're saying, that he believes that it will be brought under control, which brings me to Mr. Bhatnagar. You're a former director NDRF.
I was DIG.
DIG, and the question that people will ask is that is the NDRF equipped to actually deal with a fire of this nature? Because our correspondent on the ground is saying there aren't enough hands. Do you have enough people who are equipped to deal with a fire of this kind?
We are trained. We are expert in fire extinguishing this fire.
Of this kind of fire? Of a forest fire also?
Yes. Because in our in peacetime, our personals are being given the training, continuous training on these type of...
Even a forest fire, because our reporter on the ground is saying that they are struggling to control the fire at the moment.
They are not. Because our persons are expert, they know the techniques, how to extinguish the fire, they know how to rescue the people, they know how to rescue the...
So you are confident that the fire can be, it will be extinguished sooner rather than later, that they have the capacity to do this?
We have the capacity.
Right. I just want to bring in Sunita Narayan for a final word. You're hearing here from Mr. Bhatnagar, he believes we have the wherewithal and the NDRF is trained to deal with such situations. But people on the ground, our reporters on the ground are saying that there is a problem.
Of course, Rajdeep, there is a very big problem, and the problem will only grow in the years to come. I think we may have the technical know-how, but we certainly don't have the capacity to be able to douse fires at the scale that they are raging today. The only thing you can wish, hope and pray for is that it will rain in Uttarakhand over this next few days. That's the only way that the fires at all can be doused. If there's moisture in the soil, perhaps the next time there will be less fire. That's the only thing you can pray for. There is no way that you can hope that government is going to be able to deal with it.
Well, that's the worry, and this is why this is one of my top stories tonight. Those forest fires are claiming large tracts of forest, and there has been massive evacuation. 2 people at least have died in those forest fires. I appreciate Mr. Bhatnagar, Sunita Narayan, Ankit Tyagi, our reporter on the spot.
Welcome.
Hollywood. This is a black tie event which US President Barack Obama previously joked is a night when Washington celebrates itself, brings together journalists, media barons, Hollywood.